Where are we right now in terms of the offense and your 3 weeks in here?
Yeah, we're in a really good spot. I mean, guys have been practicing their tail off, man. We got everybody in rotations. We got all the personnel, multiple personnel, moving guys around. A majority of what we're going to get in offense in spring is in. And so we have days now where we can kind of queue up some other things, queue up long drives like that kind of just take free form. And you got a 13-play drive late in practice 11, and you get to find out, maybe it's not a conditioning spring, but that's a conditioning drill all of a sudden, and we get to find out where we're at. You get to test kind of the mental fortitude and toughness and emotional toughness that we get to see for some guys that may be a little tired than the first time they've been here. And so an awesome job. Things are taking shape in the right way.
How are you doing depth-wise?
Good, really good. We've added a lot of new guys. We know that. We get the live periods. We pull out those guys that we know we've seen a lot of, and add some real quality snaps for some new guys. But the depth-wise, I've only been here 2 years, but it's as good as you could ask for in year two. And I've been a lot of places where I've seen this cycle at some premier spots where we've seen this growth. And I really like the talent acquisition we've had and the depth we've got at certain positions. And now, obviously, this week is free agency, so you get to go do it again.
What stood out about the new receivers that you got from the portal? Jaron, Moss.
Yeah, all those guys. First of all, got the critical skills that we need. Guys who can run routes, who can catch the ball, who can get down on breaks, who are bigger, longer guys, who can be physical and play the ball down the field. We're pretty aggressive, as you guys know. A few of them have played quite a few snaps in college, so that helps. Not a ton of reps with a lot of them, but Moss is a guy who's got a ton of reps. I'm familiar with the system he came in with Coach Tedford, so that helps him a lot with the aptitude piece coming in right away. So I think, between Moss, Jaron, Noble, again, I go back to Malik only played in 4 games, did a great job down the stretch. But as soon as you pull JT off the field, all those guys are new. And so they've really done a good job. We give them a lot. There's a lot of install in the offense. We're pretty aggressive down the field, so you got to get in shape and catch the ball down the field. So they've done a good job, and Hines has been on them. The thing they've been really diligent in the office too. They're around a lot. They're really trying to submerge themselves in what we're doing in the culture and kind of the identity of the offense. So that's what you want right now.
Specifically with Jaron on Monday, Sam was talking about how his connection with him has been growing. What have you seen from kind of that pairing?
Yeah, that's when you get guys who are meeting each other for the first time and you spend this much time together, you're hoping that chemistry starts to develop. Similar to when we got here last year with JT, him and JT really hit it off, and even with whether it's X or Quan or whatever, but that chemistry of those guys being around and communicating a lot. We force the communication a lot too. I'm forcing Sam to constantly communicate on what does he see, what is he looking for. You can't stop dialoguing to guys who need feedback, and he's done a good job, because that's how you build a chemistry, just like anything else.
Looks like Sam spends a lot of times with guys talking about issues like that, like cuts, like breaks, like catching, like with everybody, literally the centers. It seems like he spends a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, and we talk about it as a unit, about the identity of our offense is the over communication, whether it be verbal or nonverbal. And I think that I'm of the mind that the guys need to communicate in game, in series, in practice. We get a ton of film. There's a ton of time off, but I like the communication I did as a quarterback. I liked it right in the moment because it's fresh with guys, And so I'm forcing Sam to communicate what he sees, why he liked that, where they need to be, why he's there, why they're there. And for a young quarterback to learn that early, I think is important. And so I'm really forcing the issue on him over communicating to guys on the details and deliberateness of what he wants.
It's kind of maybe been a pleasant surprise 3 weeks in so far that maybe you didn't think that maybe they'd be this far along in something that they've kind of exceeded your expectations.
I like the depth at backs. I thought that there'd be, when you go by committee, sometimes it's kind of a stagnation and kind of that you don't really get then either none of them easy to get off the ground because you don't give enough. You're kind of spreading it too thin. All the backs have really done a good job of when they've had their turn, they've taken shots. The tight ends are going to be a huge weapon. AJ is a weapon as a freshman who you're like, all right, I don't know how I'm going to keep you off the field. He's a pleasant surprise for a young guy. Guys who've come along. Moss is a new guy. I think we saw from the reps, but I think he's going to plug and play pretty fast and be able to manipulate the slot formation for us. There's a lot of those little things that stick out. Pleasant surprises. I think they're more than anything. It's like you hope you see what you saw in recruiting and acquisition, and those guys are few guys that have done that.
How much has this offense?
There's a lot of quarterbacks out there too. Are any of those younger guys stepping up?
Yeah, a lot of quarterbacks right now. Right now, we're holding Butter's out right now, but I think more than anything, Sam and Jeff, we're really are even with the reps. In spring, I usually at this point really ramp up the 2 reps more than you do, because once you get in fall, then it falls, so the percentage goes to the 1. So I try to catch up a little bit, usually as a philosophy, catch up some of these guys in the off season to kind of get more and more reps, so that you have a better balance once you get into fall camp.
How much has this offense evolved from last year?
It's only been 1 year. I think there's some subtle tweaks we've made and little things that it's going to change each year. I think the identity of it overall hasn't changed much, but we manipulate a lot of guys. I got a lot of new pieces to the puzzle, and so I think it hasn't changed more than anything. It's just moving guys in the right spot, and me trying to find out what those guys do well to accelerate the offense or kind of become explosive. I think if there's anything we've seen with a few more tight ends, we might be fun to be in some bigger 13 and manipulate formations and size and edges, which would be really cool if we can do that. 10 personnel with more depth at wide receiver can be something that might be something we can do. I mean, the scheme hasn't changed much. It's more the personnel and the pieces and pawns and depth help you with more toys. Toys are fun.
Much of what you're doing scheme-wise is dependent on the abilities of the offensive line.
Everything.
They can and can't do.
Yeah, everything in this offense starts up front. I mean, run, play, action, protections, or not your household. Simple front zone offense. We do a lot of stuff. We're pretty aggressive. We like to manipulate the offensive line. We like to manipulate the edges. There's multiple play actions. We got a lot of checks and packages, and everything starts up front. And it starts up front with the size of the guys too, because running the ball and play action and those plays up front on first and second down, being able to do it the way we did last year, those are body blows. Those over the course of time in a game or the season are going to wear teams down. And a lot of teams aren't patient enough to do it. We are.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks guys. Have a good day.